Okay. I'd like to call the February 20th, 2024 regular meeting of council to order. The invocation tonight will be given by Councilman Marn.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us to use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom with a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Julie, would you please call the roll?
Here. Mr. Blake.
Here.
Mr. Donovan.
Here.
Mrs. Dowling. Here. Mr. Freeman.
Here.
Mr. Kirschner.
Here.
Mr. Krieger.
Here.
Okay. Council, you are in receipt of the minutes of the February 6, 2024 work session.
Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
And Council, you are also in the receipt of the minutes of the February 6, 2024 regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Okay, public hearings, we have none. Tabled legislation, we have none. Moving on to new legislation, we have ordinance number 24-0-019.
An ordinance to authorize revisions to appropriations and declaring an emergency.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Malinowski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Members of council, this ordinance revises our current year appropriations to two different funds. Firstly, the city's general fund appropriates $26,035 for the purchase of a firing device for our bomb squad in the police department. And we also have an authorization of $385,000 of additional appropriations. That is tied into the previous council meeting award for the building at Blackbrook Golf Course. And then the fire donation fund has a $20,000 increase to purchase a jet ski with trailer. I would recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to
Counsel.
suspend.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes. Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Ordinance number 24-0-019 has been approved. Next is ordinance number 24-0-020.
An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a Mentor Economic Development Grant with Raw Roofing LLC, DBA Raw Roofing Solutions.
Ken?
Mr. President, Mr. Malinchak, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Some of you may be familiar and have met through the chamber and other city functions. Kim Gilmore, she owns a heavy highway and material business that does government contracting and started Raw Roofing Solutions alongside All Contractors Supply. They were previously sharing space on Progress Parkway and was able to purchase a new 38,000 square foot building at Division Drive for an investment of $1 million. Raw Roofing currently leases over 14,000 square feet and has invested over $170,000 in capital improvements to include new lighting, carpeting, conference rooms, and a training room for their products. They have retained 2 employees and plan to hire an additional 5 employees by the end of 2026. Which is an additional payroll of about $350,000. We are recommending an economic development grant in the amount of $7,000. Also, as just a quick note, last Friday when the Ohio Director of Development, Lydia Mahalik, was in town for the Alliance Working Together event, she did stop by Raw Roofing because they were able to get an Ohio Women's Enterprise loan from the Ohio Department of Development. That was something that was orchestrated and put together by Kelly Conrad in our office. So a really big win for Raw Roofing, not only through this grant, but also through that loan they were able to get through the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Council.
Move to suspend.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling. Yes. Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes. Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marn.
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 24-0-020 has been approved. Next is ordinance number 24-0-021.
An ordinance consenting to and authorizing the city manager to enter into a project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the LAK SR 04404.14 SR 44 portion of Heisley Road resurfacing project PID 85532 and declaring an emergency.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Swigger, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. The Ohio Department of Transportation is planning to resurface State Route 44 from State Route 2 to the City of Mentor Corp line just north of Lakeshore Boulevard as part of the LAK SR 44 4.14 resurfacing project. Total cost of the work located within the City of Mentor is estimated at approximately $770,000. This project will be funded 100% by the state of Ohio. During construction, traffic will be maintained in both directions. Project is currently on schedule to be bid this summer, and construction is expected to begin in the spring of '25. Legislation will allow the city manager on behalf of the city to give consent to the Director of Transportation to complete the project as detailed in the project agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Council?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes. Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 24-0-021 has been approved. Ordinance number 24-0-022. 022.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Geauga Highway Company and awarding it to the contract for the senior center parking lot improvement project for the base bid and alternates A and B, authorizing the city manager to execute all contract documents on behalf of the city and declaring an emergency.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a project I know councils have been anxious to move forward and certainly making all our wonderful patrons at the senior center happy. Mr. Swigger.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. 7 bids were opened on Friday, February 9th for the Senior Center Parking Lot Improvement Project. The bid package consisted of a base bid and 2 bid alternates. The base bid included installation of the parking lot expansion just north of the existing parking lot at the Senior Center. Improvements will include new pavement, storm sewer, stormwater detention, sidewalk, lighting, and a new access to Munson Road. Additionally, the existing Senior Center main parking lot, as well as the east lot, will be resurfaced as part of alternates A and B. 7 bids received for the base bid and alternates A and B range from a low bid of approximately $1.1 million to a high bid of approximately $1.4 million. It's been determined that Geauga Highway Company of Hiram, Ohio submitted the lowest total bid of $1,144,255.44. The engineer's opinion of probable construction costs for the base bid and the alternates was $1,550,880. A review of the bid from Geauga Highway Company appears that it's in conformance with all contract requirements. Thank you.
And council, this will add 115 spots, which will essentially double the capacity out there, and 25 of those are handicap accessible spots.
Thank you. Council?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes. Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 24-0-022 has been approved. Next is ordinance number 24-0-023.
An ordinance approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with CDW Government LLC for the purchase of upgraded information technology equipment, software, maintenance, and support, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President. Council, this is really a collection of budgeted networking equipment. Internally, it will increase our productivity and capacity demands, and also provide us a significant upgrade in security. The amount with CDW has actually competitively beaten the price available on the state of Ohio's bid agreement contracts in place. If we were going with the state schedule term, it would be $383,221.60. CDW is providing the same equipment for $237,685, a savings of over $145,000. So we appreciate the efforts of Ali Sayan, our Chief Technology Officer, and his staff to really negotiate a very good deal for us. So I ask for council's approval.
Thank you. Council?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Ordinance number 24-0-023 has been approved. Next is second reading, ordinance number 24-0-014.
An ordinance reaffirming the designation of city-owned permanent parcels 35A006-00010, excuse me, 35A006-0000080, 35A006-0000090, and 35A006-0000130 as conservation parkland, directing the city manager to continue planning efforts in furtherance of their conservation, establishing police and sanitary regulations for the properties, and declaring an emergency.
Council?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd like to move this to third reading.
Second.
Okay. Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
No.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
No.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 24-0-014 has received its second reading and will go on for our next meeting for a third reading. Third readings, we have none. Manager's report. Ken?
Yeah, thank you, Council. Council, just a reminder to our public that any residents living in a single-family home on a public roadway are eligible to receive a free tree lawn tree. We are, as we approach the spring, getting those orders in is important, so you can get in line. If interested, please fill out the street tree request form that's on the city's website, or contact the Department of Public Works at 440-974-5781 directly. This week, the fire department was notified that our rescue squad 1142 will be delivered. The new ambulance is a Ford F-550 Braun ambulance, replacing the current squad with over 152,000 miles, which will be placed into reserve status. Tom Franks Enterprises will begin construction activities the week of February 19th on the Bryson Drive water main replacement project. The project consists of replacing about 4,000 feet of existing water main with a new 6-inch water main, 13 hydrants, and 75 residential services, so a pretty large project. It's anticipated that the installation of the water main will take about 90 days, and which will include the drive replacement and lawn restoration, which of course will happen in the warmer weather. Traffic control will be maintained by the contractor, including any lane closures, and anytime these projects are done, we encourage our residents, since we're not directly managing those projects, to contact someone at the city, contact one of their council members if they're experiencing trouble, so that we can take a little bit more of an oversight opportunities there for the contractor. The City of Mentor will host a job fair on Saturday, February 24th from 10 a.m. to noon in the main lobby of the Mentor Municipal Center at 8500 Civic Center. Department representatives will be available to discuss current and future full-time, part-time, and temporary and seasonal positions available throughout the city. You can visit our website at www.cityofmentor.com/employment-opportunities to view current openings. You can also contact our Human Resources Department as well. And finally, council, we have two new businesses to announce today. IRBY Utilities at 9535 Hamilton Road and Nailmax at 9391 Menor Avenue. So we thank them for their investment, and we wish them great success moving forward. That's all.
Ken, thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Filipiak, and Mr. Kaminsky, and Mr. Swikert. Congratulations on our City of Mentor signs that are popping up around the city. Really appreciate it. I know it was a long time coming, and some signs had to be sent back and things of that nature, but they look great. A lot of positive response, especially the one on 615. And number two is, I know we talked earlier about our new building at Blackbrook. What about our new building at Wildwood? Any further update on that, and where we currently stand?
Mr. Kaminsky?
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Councilman Martin, the Wildwood Garage currently is under construction. The roof has been put on, the concrete in and outside the facility is complete. The electric inside the facility is done. The mezzanine is complete. Basically, there is just work around the facility, around the site, and then the ephes, which is basically the material that goes up on the outside, needs to be put in, and then just the connecting of the water and the electric, and then it will be completed.
Great, great.
looks
And that's
good.
what
It looks
and that's what
fantastic.
its official name? Is that what we're calling it?
Storage facility. Nothing fancy, but I think obviously the best thing about it is that it serves our need in that part of the city, and it complements the main structure, which was our goal and council's goal, to keep it looking attractive for many decades that it will be there.
Well, we were at Burgess and Nyepel's grand opening last Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
I know where you're going with this,
And
Scott.
it was, it was very nice, a nice new building, 10,000 square feet. And we all know on council and the administration how this project is near and dear to Councilman Krieger's heart. So in talking with the guys over at Burgess Nyepel, as a present for Mr. Krieger, and go ahead, open it up, so this way you could look at it every single day. And hold it up, that is a 3D image of our new building at Wildwood. It's not painted correctly, but if you'd like, I'm sure I could find someone, because I don't have that technology in my own hands, to be able to do it at
Art school.
So, Mr. Krieger, congratulations, and there you have your building that you truly
Thank you
love.
very much.
I think that took like
Burgess and Nyepel.
2.5 hours on a 3D printer to make that, John. So that's a high-quality piece right there. All right.
Go.
Well, thank you, Ken. Moving on, clerk's correspondence, Julie?
Council is in receipt of a new liquor permit for Crooked Tea Gaming Tavern LLC at 8900 Menor Avenue, Unit K. And council's also in receipt of the Menor Municipal Court January 2024 month-end report. And that is all.
Okay. Commission committee reports. We have meeting minutes from the Community Arts Commission, September 7th, 2023, and October 5th, 2023, November 2nd, 2023, and January 4th, 2024. Seems like they got caught up all at once. We also have the Municipal Planning Commission minutes from January 18th, 2024, and the Board of Building and Zoning Appeals minutes from January 9th, 2024. Council, old business? New business? We have one piece
Mr.
of new
President?
business. Yes,
I would like to
Right.
make a motion to appoint David Rossetti to serve an unexpired term on the Municipal Planning Commission ending 12/31/25.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, David Rossetti. So moving on, we'll go to persons before council. So we have quite a few people wanting to speak tonight. When you come up, when your name is called, realize you have 4 minutes. And if you could, for the council clerk, give your name and your address when you come up. So we're going to start with the first one. First person is Pam Friedrich. Pam, if you'd like to come up to the podium here.
Hello, I'm Pam Friedrich. My home address is 8172 Rushton Drive, Mentor. But I'm here to read a letter from the Veronica Dahlberg, the Executive Director of OLA, Ohio, which is located at 265 North State Street, Painesville. Dear President Blake and Council, I'm writing on behalf of OLA, Ohio, a 501c3 based in Painesville, Ohio, that offers services, programs, and partnerships to improve the health, education, and financial stability of Hispanic families and children. The city of Painesville, where the new OLA Hispanic Community Center is located, is nearly 1/3 Hispanic, many of whom are the families of immigrant farm workers who came to work in area nurseries and settled here in the last 3 decades. The Painesville City Schools are now 60% Hispanic, with nearly 100% considered to be at poverty level. There is a need for access to high-quality jobs that provide good wages and opportunities for career advancement. OLA works to remove barriers that maintain Hispanic workers in low-wage occupations. As such, OLA stands with and supports the City of Painesville in its effort to secure from the City of Mentor the property comprising 215 acres in Painesville. The property is currently restricted from being developed and would remain as unproductive scrubland. The property represents the future for residents of Painesville, and it's appropriate that the residents, including Hispanic residents, should have a voice in how it is used. I urge you to consider your proposal. Please carefully consider the best course of action in this matter, one that will generate the most positive outcomes for the residents and families. Sincerely, Veronica Isabel Dahlberg, Executive Director, OLA.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Chris Lee. If you'd like to come up, and don't forget your name and address. And you have 4 minutes.
Chris Lee, address is 8 North State Street, Suite 375, Painesville, Ohio. Dear President Blake and Mentor City Council, on behalf of myself, Chris Lee, Second Vice President of the Lake County NAACP, and Pamela Morris of the Lake County NAACP, I am writing to express my opposition to the ordinance of number 240-014, which seeks to place 215 acres of land located in the city of Painesville into conservation. While I appreciate the efforts to preserve natural resources and protect the environment, I am concerned about the potential negative impacts this ordinance may have on minorities within Lake County. Placing this land into conservation would effectively prohibit its development, which will hinder the opportunity for people of color from Lake County and surrounding counties to obtain good-paying jobs. Additionally, it may restrict future opportunities for new housing, particularly for minorities that are looking to move up or relocate to a diverse community that has welcomed us. As an organization committed to advancing the rights and opportunities of minorities throughout Lake County, it is essential that we consider that the potential consequences of this ordinance. While conservation efforts are important, they should not come at the expense of affordable housing and new job creations that will benefit Painesville, Mentor, and the whole of Lake County. On behalf of the Lake County NAACP, I urge you to reconsider whether it is in the best interest of the minority population in Lake County to support number 24-0-014. Instead, we will suggest that you explore alternative solutions that balance environmental conservation within the economic and housing needs of the diverse community that makes up Painesville. I quote, it is crucial that we work together to ensure that all residents, regardless of race, background, have access to employment opportunities and housing that is suitable. Thank you for considering our concerns. We respectfully request this to be read into today's record on February 20, 2024. We look forward to your response and continued collaboration on issues affecting the Lake County NAACP. We may be reached at area code 440-352-2600. Sincerely, Pam Morris, President of Lake County NAACP. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next is Scott Halloran. Don't forget your name, address.
Yes. Good evening, members of City Council. My name is Scott Halloran. I live at 13599 County Line Road in Russell Township, Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Chapter 721 of Mentor's Codified Ordinances prohibits medical marijuana businesses. Tonight, I'm here to ask City Council to repeal this ordinance, establish regulations and zoning to govern marijuana businesses, and work with our company to locate and establish a first-class dispensary that will bring jobs and significant tax revenue into the city. In 2016, my partner Andy Rayburn and I founded Buckeye Relief and Amplify Dispensaries. We're Ohio's largest medical marijuana company and one of the very few that's actually owned and operated by Ohioans. We have maintained a perfect compliance record since the day we opened our doors. Our cultivation facility in Eastlake employs 123 people, and each of our 3 dispensaries employs another 27. Each dispensary has a payroll of $1.5 million. All of our employees are full-time, all receive full benefits. We have over 30 employees who live in the city of Mentor, and there are nearly 10,000 medical marijuana patients who live in the city of Mentor and surrounding communities. Ohioans passed Issue 2 at an overwhelming 58%, with nearly 59% of the voters of Lake County voting yes on the initiative. Importantly, Issue 2 provides for a 10% tax on adult use marijuana, 36% of which goes to the host community. We conservatively estimate that at $500,000 to $1 million a year for the city of Mentor. Issue 2 also allows our company to open 3 additional dispensaries. In addition to being 500 feet away from a church, park, school, playground, or daycare, we have to be 1 mile away from any other operating dispensary. Many communities are implementing their own rules and zoning regulations to govern the dispensaries so they don't end up with Weed Alley in their hometown. Location of these facilities needs to be carefully considered and planned, as traffic, parking, and security requirements are very different than your typical retail business. Putting these in the wrong locations can be a disaster for both the operator and for the city. I've identified an ideal piece of real estate in Ward 2 that provides excellent traffic ingress and egress, abundant parking, and a very secure location. The Department of Commerce, who will regulate this program, will begin awarding adult use dispensary licenses to operators like Buckeye Relief in June. So we need to have our locations in host cities that will allow our use sometime in May. As for security at our facilities, I can refer you to Chief Larry Reich of Eastlake, who can attest to the quantity and quality of our security measures. About 35% of our security guard and delivery driver hours are staffed by off-duty law enforcement officers. Simply put, we are more secure than virtually any other retail business. The Ohio industry is extremely tightly regulated, and every single scrap of marketing or packaging must be approved by the state to ensure that it is not attractive to or targeted children. Yet, due to a loophole in the federal farm bill, I was able to legally purchase these products in Mentor this past weekend. Stonio cookies, Planters pot peanuts, Cannaburst candy, actual marijuana flour, vape carts. Aside from the obvious intellectual property infringement, there is virtually zero regulation of these products. They're sold to anyone, regardless of age, no ID required. Many of these products are more intoxicating than the products sold in our stores. Our products are tested, accurately labeled, taxed, and sold to only adults 21 and over.
You have 30 seconds, Mr. Halloran.
In closing, I would welcome the opportunity to show you our facility in Eastlake or our retail locations in Bedford or Cleveland Heights so that you can get a sense of the quality of our operation and what the city of Mentor could expect. Of course, I would also love the opportunity for my team to have a deeper discussion with council, as there are a lot of details that I could not cover in my 4 minutes tonight. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next, Jim Fodor.
Well, good evening. My name is Jim Fodor, and I'm the current president of Painesville City Council. I would like to start off my comments by thanking the prior leadership of Mentor City Council, President Matt Donovan and past Vice President Scott Mon, who had the foresight to engage with both myself as Vice President at the time and our past President Christine Shoup, who is in the audience this evening, to sit down and discuss the relationship between Mentor and Painesville, which included the 215 acres. As you can guess, we were a little bit apprehensive at the time, but after sitting down and talking with the two gentlemen in a short period of time, We appreciated their willingness to put the long-standing dispute between us and engage in a frank discussion as to what is needed to develop this property while addressing Mentor's concerns. After we talked for a while, there was agreement that prosperity of the region would be enhanced through a mutual benefit approach to the development. Hundreds, possibly thousands of jobs could be created. High-paying union or prevailing wage construction opportunities created by the installation of the infrastructure, local income, and property taxes enhanced dramatically. A reasonable balance of preservation of existing wetlands of the southwest corner of the property. As a result of these conversations, as we went back and spoke with our fellow council people and so forth, there was a general receptive of a 50-50 JED that was proposed with Mentor in order to share the new income that would be received. And it would be equal so that it could address any concerns that Mentor might have with the traffic, if that is one of their major concerns. And this led to not only the monetary thing, but also there is a joint grant the county and Painesville are pursuing, which if awarded would address all traffic concerns by creating the new interchange in Painesville at Route 44 and accompanying road alignments of Jackson Street. The county engineer has indicated that Mentor could become a part of this grant to not only improve Diamond Center, but also create a potential realignment of the Heisley Road off-ramp of State Route 2 into Diamond Center, thereby improving the traffic flow along all into Heisley. And I guess what we're hoping is this: before this goes too far down the road, that all the possibilities should be explored to see what we can do with this 215 to address the concerns that Mentor Council has, to address the economic impact that it would have for Painesville City, but also the Concord and Mentor and the like. You might ask, well, why is this? It's still only 215 acres. Why is it so important? Well, for Painesville, we're 6.83 square miles. Mentor is 27.8 square miles. We're 100 years
You have
older
30
than
seconds.
Mentor are. And what that means is 200 square acres to us is a huge economic development that really has an impact on Painesville. It may not be quite as much as Mentor, but we're hoping at good neighbors. I would ask President Brake, as the new council president, and myself as the new council president, to come back to the table. Let's sit down and discuss this matter and see if we could come to some mutually agreed upon solution so that we address the needs of Painesville as well as Mentor, as well as Concord and Riverside.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You kept that right at 4 minutes. Good job. Okay. Next is Dorothy. Me either. Okay, don't forget your name and address.
Yes. I'm Dorothy I. Dres Jennings. I live at 115 Levan Drive, Painesville, Ohio. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council regarding proposed ordinance number 240-014. As I said, my name is Dres Jennings. I am Vice President and Legislative Liaison for the Painesville City Local School Board. I'm here tonight to add perspective to concerns raised by Dr. Josh Engelhardt, Superintendent of Painesville City Local Schools, in his letter dated February 6, 2024. It's true the proposed ordinance does not have a direct impact on Painesville City Local Schools in terms of property tax, but the ordinance does have an indirect impact on the district's efforts to encourage students to come to school, to stay in school, and to graduate. Like school districts across the country, including your school and school district, we are challenged by student absenteeism. Under Dr. Engelhardt's leadership, we're making huge progress. Part of that progress comes from work helping students understand the various academic pathways they could follow to achieve their goals, specifically pathways for students who don't plan on attending college but do want to have productive productive jobs. As part of this process, the district points to organizations and businesses as examples that a Harvey High School graduate where they could find meaningful employment. The Joint Economic Development District proposed for the property would be another potential opportunity and example that we could give to our students as they try to plan for their future. As noted, the JED would create revenue for the City of Mentor, would create revenue for Riverside School District. It would also create opportunity and incentive for Painesville City Local School District students. This is an example of the kinds of opportunities that our students benefit from knowing about. As I wrote this, the phrase came to mind, a rising tide lifts all boats. By voting against this ordinance and moving ahead with the JED, this council could lift many boats. Thank you for your time and consideration. Mr. Krieger, you look just like your dad.
Thank you. Okay, next, Gary Platko. Don't forget name and address.
Good evening. I'm Gary Platko, live at 5711 Birdie Lane, Mentor, Ohio. I am the Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer for Riverside Local Schools. And I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Prior to the last council meeting, I had sent a letter on behalf of the Riverside Local School District to the City Manager, City Council, and the Economic Development Director, expressing Riverside's opposition to Ordinance 24-0-014. I did not receive any response to that letter or acknowledgement that that letter was received, so I felt it was necessary to come tonight to speak to the council on record. While I understand the ordinance is more of a housekeeping item, the fact that placing this vacant land into conservation causes harm to the Riverside School District in the form of lost economic development opportunities, lost tax revenue, and an inequitable tax burden on the Riverside School District taxpayers. In addition, it causes significant economic impact to the city of Painesville and to Lake County as a whole. The placement of this vacant land into conservation is inconsistent with the city of Painesville zoning laws and land use plan. Riverside believes the current situation presents a unique opportunity for the affected parties to engage in discussions on a mutually beneficial outcome for this vacant land. We are again requesting that we have an opportunity to meet with the representatives of the City of Mentor and the City of Painesville to explore meaningful resolutions. As a Mentor resident and taxpayer, I appreciate the efforts by the City of Mentor to survey its residents regarding the future of this vacant land, but I wanted to ask you to exercise caution when considering the results, as it's a highly complex issue. I do not believe personally that this land is a good candidate for conservation. It's surrounded by a Sam's Club, Home Depot, Menards, with State Route 2 to the north, State Route 44 to the east, and railroad tracks to the south with an apartment complex in the middle of it. Certainly there's other parcels located within the City of Mentor boundaries that would be better for conservation. Once again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for speaking this evening, and I'm looking forward to further dialogue.
Thank you. And lastly, Doug Lewis.
Good evening, President Blake and City Council. My name is Doug Lewis, City Manager for the City of Painesville, and my address is 843 Homewood Drive, Painesville, Ohio. The reason I'm here is to address some of the concerns I heard expressed during the last meeting regarding ordinance number 24-0-014. As a result of Law Director Zeman's comments, I asked Painesville Police Chief Dan Waterman to run a report of the calls received from the properties off Brookstone Boulevard that are owned by the City of Mentor. Since April of 2019, the Painesville Police Department responded to 7 suspicious vehicles, 1 trespass call, and 1 injured deer call since 2019. Most of these calls resulted from vehicles parked at the end of Shamrock Boulevard near our lift station, not on property owned by the City of Mentor. Funny thing is that most of these calls for suspicious vehicles were called in by me as I was driving by the property. However, if there are incidents occurring on the property that we are not aware of, we would be happy to work with you. You may contact either Police Chief Waterman or myself if you notice any concerns or if you have any concerns. The other concern I heard was about the protection of the Mentor Marsh and salt tailings from the property. We agree that protection of the Mentor Marsh is important. However, rather than placing prime developable land into conservation, the City of Painesville met with the county commissioners in order to discuss a potential solution that would be better for the Mentor Marsh. We agree, or as such, we would be willing to sit down with you and discuss the option that would pick up the salt from State Route 2 as well. Finally, the concern of traffic on Diamond Center Drive has been a concern as long as I can remember. It just so happens that the City of Painesville and representatives of Lake County Engineers Office met recently to explore options to fund roadway improvements, specifically the construction of the State Route 44 Jackson Street interchange, the realignment of the West Jackson Street, which includes a rail grade crossing, a new road connection from Renaissance Parkway to West Jackson Street, and many other road improvements. During the discussion, we thought that Mentor might be interested in joining us to submit a funding request to realign the Heisley Road off-ramp, aligning with Diamond Center Drive, and other improvements along Heisley Road from West Jackson Street
You have 30 seconds.
to State Route, or from West Jackson Street to State Route 2 in order to address any of your traffic concerns. I am standing before you to say that we want to work with you. We believe that there are options to address any concerns that you may have. We are at the table and would like to see these resolved for the benefit of not only the City of Painesville and Mentor, but the entire region. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Okay. And that's
Second.